G'day Townsville, it's Ben Kingsbury here from Kingsbury Strata and Harcourts. I'm here to just give you a bit of an update, have a bit of a general chat about where we're at in the market right now, what we're doing within our business, and some of the things we're seeing, some of the questions we're being asked from yourselves as an owner group within our Strata business as to where things sit right now. So look, starting out on the business front, things are basically the same as they were before. We obviously can no longer legally hold meetings, we don't believe. But certainly our advice has been that we shouldn't anyway. So over the next number of weeks, however long that lasts for, we will be continuing to schedule all the meetings, AGMs, all the rest of it. We can facilitate phone hookups if we really need to, but essentially what we're doing is encouraging that people actually send voting papers back, and those meetings happen by voting paper only. It's a little bit of an awkward way to go about things, but certainly if this was to go for 3 months, 6 months, however long it might be, we certainly realise the need to have those budgets in place, have those meetings happen. Your building needs to continue to operate as much as normal as possible, and we need those triggers in place to continue to issue levies and all that sort of thing. Moving on directly from that to the issue of levies, we've had a lot of questions around what happens if I can't pay my levies or if I'm late to pay. In a lot of your buildings, there's a loss of discount that might apply, and there's certainly penalty fees for late payment that might apply. The best we can do right now is to tell you that if you are in that position, just engage with us when you make those payments. It's a question that we can't necessarily answer, and generally something that we've got to go back to the committee of the building, have a chat about it. So give us the story as to what your position is, and we can take that back and talk to your building sort of members in your committee on your behalf to see what we do there. Certainly we're seeing a lot of buildings that are making the decision not to apply those penalties, but it really comes down to your individual building, your individual group of owners, and the individual financial position of the building overall, because there certainly are some that are in reasonably tight conditions themselves as a body corporate entity. So short story, just come and talk to us and we'll do what we can to facilitate it. Putting on a little bit of a different hat and talking, we are also Harcourts, which many of you would be aware. So we're quite significant in Townsville in terms of the property management space and the residential property management and residential sales is what I meant to say. Certainly a lot of you out there as unit owners have tenanted properties. You might be tenanting the one you live in right now. Sorry, you might be tenanting the one that's part of our body corporate, or you've got other properties that are tenanted, and you're hearing all of the announcements in the market about Scott Morrison saying that there will be a 6-month freeze on evictions. The short story we have on that is we're not quite sure where that lands yet. We're certainly monitoring it very closely, but aside from the National Cabinet giving a national direction that that's where they're going to move to, from there it becomes a state issue. The Queensland Government legislates anything to do with residential tenancies, so we're waiting on a lot more information on that package. We've seen some really big stimulus come out today in regards to Scott Morrison announcing a lot more support for employment and support for employers, so hopefully that will alleviate some of the stress and mean the number of tenants out there that really aren't in a position to make payments will be quite low. And we're also hopeful that while tenants that are in a financially difficult position as a result of COVID-19 will certainly have some provisions that we have to work with them, the same won't apply, we're hoping, to where a tenant might not be looking after your property, or where a tenant is needing to move out because you've sold the home or you need to move into it yourself, or any of those other normal triggers that might apply. So certainly feel free to contact if you've got any questions in regards to that. I don't mind at all whether we're the property managers or not. I'm happy to give you whatever information we have. And just try and help guide you through that process. So look, we thank you very much for your patience during this time. The staff members are working a combination of from home and within the office, so bear with us a little bit as we move through it, but we're doing our best to make sure we get back to everyone as soon as we can, and hopefully we don't have this last for too long. But at the moment we're basically putting plans in place that we might have to deal with it for a little while. So thank you very much, and I hope you're all looking after yourself. Cheers.